I watch first.
Test.
It's actually opening online. It'll save it on there. Right. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder if someone out in the audience has a question.
Pretty good, but we can
Can
always.
they?
No, they can put it on the chat. Is the chat live, Rick?
I believe it is, yeah.
Are we gonna have somebody to comment on the chat?
We're not gonna comment on that.
Oh, I could volunteer for that.
I'll bring the keyboard over. How's it sound? That's true. So let's have another discussion about comments on
Just
social
look
media.
at when we responding to the chat, because I mean, that would
Do they have somebody in Mount Vernon respond to the chat?
I will occasionally log in and read the chats, which are quite entertaining.
That's why he wants to respond.
Cheryl knows what I'm talking about.
Is it possible to set something in the chat that says this, we're not monitoring the chat?
We can do that probably for next meeting, or you want to type it in there? Yeah, she'll type it in there. I think she mentioned it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's more time to say it better, I think.
Oh, here's.
What did you do?
When it's current, I don't know, but I told him. Still leader. Maybe we'll put you in the chair. Let's see how far behind.
With the page of numbers,
Yeah. Thanks for being. Should have rights to it.
Hang on.
That's conservative, it's front facts. It wasn't that big of a lump. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh.
Well,
Still not.
it's still giving me trouble. Let me turn all this off. And if not, we'll use paper,
Yep.
like the old school. Yeah, we'll go with paper for now.
Keep us all ruly. Keep everything ruly. We'll put you in charge of the chat, Austin. Thank you very much. For you. Just so you know.
Up there at the top left of the picture where it has the.
Oh, okay.
One of them is Andy Ward.
Figures.
Yes. Selling their foot, we're trying to run a meeting.
Well, we are ready whenever you are, Mayor.
Okay. Let's get this working council meeting to order. Let's stand up, get the pledge of allegiance. And then we will, have Brian give us a little prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, I thank you for this beautiful weather you give us, giving us a break for the winter and actually seeing spring and the warm weather. I thank you for the protection of Rick's crew and working in our town and protecting and guiding them. I lift up Sandra in her arm, Lord, that you would heal it, take that pain away. I lift up all the board members, Lord, as we go through the meeting, and that they would hear your words, wisdom and direction your village. I thank you for the fire department, what they do for our town, and how they serve. I continue to lift them up as they serving us, that you would protect them as they're going to all emergency rooms. I thank you for this day you give us. I lift this all for your son, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thanks, Mark.
Clerk will call roll.
John,
Here.
Mayor,
Here.
Daniel,
Yep.
Rusty,
Here.
Sandra,
Here.
Dave,
Here.
oh, here.
Okay, special council meeting minutes. Meeting for March 3rd.
Make a motion to approve them.
Second,
Sandra,
yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie, yes. Daniel,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave.
Okay, now the minutes for the council meeting on the 6th.
A motion to approve those as well. Second, Griffith.
Daniel,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave,
Yeah.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie. Yes.
The April warrant reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie, yes. Daniel,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah.
Sandra.
Yes.
Now, next is the sewer AR summary, and it's a little different.
Yeah.
This time, Chris did that. Chris doing a great job for us in the county department. And it's a really simple report to take a look and see how the sewers fund is doing. And it's right on track with everything we've asked.
Motion to approve, Griffith.
Second,
Julie,
yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Now the April credit card statement.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Daniel,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah.
Sandra.
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Julie, yes.
That's the mayor has one. What is game craze?
Movies.
Movies.
Oh, the rental equipment, the blow up movie screen.
Oh.
Thought you were play games.
I did. I thought they were.
Your recreation department, huh?
They go around June Square.
Okay, now at this time is the public hearing for the DORA. I have someone supposed to read.
So yeah, this is a public hearing just for the door. If anybody wants to speak on other topics that will be coming next. Obviously, council tabled the DORA ordinance out of last meeting. Basically at the administration's request. We heard from the public we want to make sure that we roll this out the right way. So we amended the plan for the DORA. The two changes were obviously since it was originally proposed by Mayor Stewart. Long Branch received, I think it's their D3, D4 liquor license that had to be updated in the plan. And then whereas originally it was proposed to go every weekday from 4 to 10 and Saturday and Sunday from noon to 10, we've revised the hours of operation from Thursday and Friday from 4 to 10 and Saturday from noon to 10. The rest of the week, there will be no DORA. We can reevaluate that at any time. If we find the DORA, if council approves the DORA and we find that it's not ideal for the village, they can suspend or end the DORA. If the village residents or council wants to see it extended for the next year or in the future, they can also extend the hours by council action. So this seemed like a good way to hear from some of our public, but also see how it performs this summer for the village if the council. Anybody want to speak on it?
We want to speak on it.
Yeah, Dora, you can speak on it.
So you hire him till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, correct? Weekends as well? Saturday. Evening? Yeah. Down there. That was my question. You're gonna have people coming in to down and drink and play around and leave. Yeah, that's another.
Well, the people get out of the bar and drink all day long.
I know that.
So two things, that's a good point. Two things. First, we're having events this summer, Saturday evenings. I've talked to Sheriff Weckeser about making sure that, if Austin were on vacation or a deputy, we ensure we have coverage during those Saturday events we're planning. And then the other thing is in the plan, it says that the mayor, the village administrator, the sheriff, or the fire chief can suspend the DORA at any time if there's problems.
Just to make sure I heard you right. Thursday and Friday, 4 to 10, Saturday, noon to 10, that's it, right?
That's it.
That's what I wrote down. I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
Anybody else? Hearing's over.
Here's over.
Okay. Now we'll open it up to public participation.
Anybody sign up to speak, Megan?
No? Sorry.
You can come up, did you read the book I gave you, Mary? You can come up and give us a little book report on it.
I actually thought about your book a lot, and I appreciated it, and I thought about the importance of respect. I learned a lot about books from my grandfather, and he taught me that sometimes you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and you made me think about that my grandfather a lot, and so I appreciated that, and I learned a lot about trust, and I thought about openness and honesty and thoughtfulness, and that really, I thought, well, hopefully that will transfer here, and so, yeah, but I didn't think I needed to talk about it, so.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, we're not gonna sit here for 20 minutes, are we?
Nope.
You wanna say something, Zach?
Keep it going.
Keep it rolling.
Okay.
I think he does.
I do have one question. So there's a public hearing tonight, and the agenda didn't get posted until noon. So how do people get notified of public hearings?
on,
Yeah, so,
on the Dora.
so the agenda for council gets posted the day of, if we can finalize it the Friday before. But typically for a public hearing like a Dora, Megan will post that on Facebook and the website within the required time frame. So one that she posted today is not until June 4th. That would be a public hearing for zoning, which will involve changes to the plan development language for the NCA land dedication, and then also changes to the zoning code to allow for gravel parking. So we're required to give 30 days notice for that. I think we're required to give 30 days for Dora. And so we usually publish those 30 days early. But then the agendas, we're trying to finalize the agenda, as late as Friday. Sometimes we're waiting on a final piece of legislation for Monday. So we typically like to put out the agenda when it's firm.
There's a way on the website though, you can subscribe. And so when I put the alert, like where you see at the top of the page, I also send an email out. So if you subscribe to our website, you'll get that email as well.
Okay.
So that's enough.
That's $9.99 a month. Payable to Daniel.
Honestly, I didn't even know that. So thanks, man.
Okay. Well, next is the mayor's proclamation of the Heart of Ohio Playground. You want me to read all this?
It's up to you. You don't have to, but I know you and Julia requested a proclamation honoring that playground, and so that'll be signed and filed with the office.
And we'll post it on the website, right, Megan?
Yes.
Okay.
Did Kara know we were doing?
No, unfortunately, I drafted it last week, and
Okay.
it's just a busy week. So we could also have Kara come out next meeting. We can do it next meeting if you'd like to do that.
Would be next.
Okay, we could do that. We'll put it on the website and
And then we can present it to Kara next meeting. That'd be great.
That's great. We received one from Brenner, a proclamation from Andy Brenner. But it was to the same thing. But it was kind of a blanket for everybody.
Is that in the pack?
No, it's in my office.
Okay.
I was gonna. It's made out to the village and the Knox Foundation. I was gonna get a copy of the Knox Foundation in honor of our playground.
It was packed the other day. I was down there for a softball game and it was packed. Yeah.
All needs
Kids,
the rest
little
of
kids everywhere.
One of the biggest questions is where to plant the trees. There's what, 10 trees the village saw?
We have quoted, in the quote for tree plantings, we did ask just generally to quote for 10 trees for that location. Drew Love did call me today. I just didn't have a chance to get back to him, so I'll call him tomorrow and figure out where we are with trees.
He's worried about getting too late to plant some.
Well, I'm gonna tell him to go for it.
So the garden club is adding 2 trees to that.
Perfect.
And did I give it to Megan or should I give
You
it
do
to
Stacy and Stacy did.
What kind of trees you want?
American sycamore? And I forget the other name.
But they have, I gave them the sheet.
Where do you want to plant? That's.
Wherever they want. When the garden club met last week, I said it's gonna be 251 years before we ever decide what those trees. We're leaving it up to you.
I think you're right. I think I would agree. Wherever Drew thinks it makes the most sense over there is where we can plant.
Okay, now let's have some reports. We done with all that? Everybody good with that? Let's have the VA, village administrator.
So apologies, it was a busy week last week, so you didn't get my VA report until this afternoon. It is at the end of your packet. I won't dig into too much, but feel free to ask any questions if you've had a chance to read it or call. One thing I will say is we're coming down to the wire on the green space. I really appreciate Megan has spent a ton of time coming up with programming, getting sponsorships, setting up the agenda or the schedule and everything else. So great work to Megan. Alex and his staff have been overseeing the contractors. So right now, between the bricks, obviously you've seen the concrete has been poured. The electric service should be installed in the next week or two. And then Megan and I met with Custom Cutters last week for the stage backing in the archway. The guys are planning to hang some lighting, string lighting across the space. And then our IT is going to be out in the next week or two to put Wi-Fi out there in case we need it for any type of event. So I think we're on pace for our June 6th kickoff. I've asked Megan if she could start working on putting together a ribbon cutting for that evening. If the mayor's not here, I'll delegate somebody to speak for him. But June 6th is, you said you might be up?
June 6th. I might have to leave that done.
All right. So June 6th is the first event. We were thinking of, that is the right date, right? Yeah.
I was just double checking.
First event is June 6th, and we're hoping to do a ribbon cutting. That's all I have, unless you guys have questions.
That was quick. I was looking at this whole page.
I write it out so you don't have to listen to me say it.
Okay. How about you, Zach, the solicitor report?
Nothing further to report other than what's in the written document I provided.
Fiscal officer?
Stacy didn't indicate she had anything to report to this meeting unless there's questions.
Pete, how about you?
Sure.
We got a couple things. We'll steal the podium a little bit, just because I'll drop all my paperwork. We got a presentation and then my annual report or monthly report. The first thing I would like to start with is to remind everybody is today is one International Firefighters Day. It's our day of appreciation. I say that in front of Austin with all the respect there is. And then this Mother's Day is our flower sale that honors Honor Flag. So if you need a basket, please come up to the firehouse. It doesn't matter, rain or shine. We'll move trucks. We'll have the flowers inside. So please stop. They get delivered this Friday or Thursday. I'm sorry.
Chief, do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I had this one.
Can I have it? I'll put it in the antique store
Yes.
and then I'll throw stuff at it.
You can make copies all you want and send it wherever. Thank you. Then real quick, last month was actually a little bit out of fire season, so we slowed down a little bit as far as runs and getting behind, I think. Big things to report I just did was the honor flight. Then we're still working through the union negotiations. That's still ongoing. Our new body armor, like you might see one of the law enforcement, will go to something more what they call tactical, but it keeps getting pushed back on our wait list, whatever, for people who are sending it to. The firefighters have to wear body armor on certain runs. Like a domestic, a drug overdose, a shooting, stabbing, those type of runs, they're required to put their body armor on. So each riding position has always had a vest at a minimum. The levy, big deal. Tomorrow's voting day, so I appreciate everybody who can go out and vote. That would mean a lot to me and the firefighters that protect and serve. We're working, our annual report should be out next month for the board to see. New copiers, I was talking to the village administrator about. We're very close to putting our drone program into place. I just got off the phone with the insurance company today. There was some discussion of, how much coverage we needed, and Ohio, are you guys on the Ohio plan?
Mm-hmm.
So Ohio plan covers so much, and then if we wanted to go above that, we have 2 certified FAA pilots. We use that term very softly, but we are technically FAA pilots. The drone is in place and ready to go, and I think we'll get their bid for what it will cost to insure us, and we'll go from there. I would like to think within the next 30 days, the drone program will be in place. Then our staffing, we did Captain Burns resign. His first day on air evac was a couple days ago, I think. His goal has always been, I guess, to become a nurse practitioner. Just and he's flown with the aircraft forces, kind of puts him in that full medical mode. So we wish him luck. We've given 2 5 years of service awards, and that's great for our department. There's 3 of us that are there over 5 years. I'm on year 7, so I'm excited with that. And the turnover has slowed tremendously. in the past couple. This is the first time I'll hire a full-timer in over 2 years. So we really appreciate all the support. Anybody have questions with that report? Pretty straightforward. BA, good? Okay. The next thing, Daniel, Councilman Daniel, asked us to do a presentation on how we felt housing developments would impact the fire department. And that led us to a lot of places. But first of all, I want to say we always do our best to forecast in everything we do, whether it's finance, run volume, impact, all those sort of things. So we've done a lot of research, is where it started. And I reached out to Westerville Fire, Delaware City Fire, Orange Township, which Orange Township has been the fastest leading township growth in Ohio for the past 10 years. Washington Township, my old home, Dublin, and NASTY. NASTY is a North Area Strike Team, where all the Franklin County and surrounding suburbs were part of it. So there's over 20 fire departments. In that is a prevention group. So they meet monthly. There's at least 15 there. Arlington, Jerome Township, Marysville, pretty much anyone you can think of sits in that room. And we asked a very simple question at first was, what do you use as a predictor in how things will impact you, be it a housing development? It seems like the fire service on our day of appreciation, we're a little bit reactive. It's something we could do better at, for sure. The only department that presented something was my old department, and right after I left, as a matter of fact, is we have a system that we have to report to at the state level, and soon will be the federal level, on every single type of response we go on. Anytime you see those sirens or hear the sirens and see the lights, we are creating a report that gets approved by the state of Ohio and eventually moved up to the federal level. So the research question was, how does a housing development impact us? Well, that's today's question. Tomorrow's question is going to be, well, how does the senior center development impact us? And then the next question will be, how does a commercial or industrial complex impact us? So we took the question a little more seriously, and that's why the research is taking a little bit of time. You'll see one section of it. But basically, our runs are coded in 100 series, 200 series, all the way up to a 900 series. Then within each one of those, in this case, we'll pick on series 400, is residential. When we looked at the Dublin model, what they used square footage and to identify or actual structures that they actually had and they could prove were in the district, and use that as the better indicator. I used before simple math. We have X amount of people. We take care of 8,000 people. We had 1,200 runs. Divide it, and there you go. That is not the best way to do it, from what I've been told. So we have used what I call the call classification model, which you'll see here in a second. This seems, again, to make the most sense because it covers just about, we will track everything. And we've gone back, 8 years in most cases? We've gone back 8 years to pull the historical data to see what we've done and how we've done it and how it's impacted us. We've tried to use all citable sources. So we've used the U.S. Census, county auditors, state auditors, and COJFD records. So what you'll see tonight is how we feel residential, which residential, Lieutenant Castle will explain, which I have to thank him, Lieutenant Andrian, who's not here, Risk Reduction Farmer. There's been at least 3 or 4 of them for the past 2 months have been a front burner item that we had to come up with a lot of stuff to give you our best forecast of how we see it impacts the fire department. So I will pass out, or do they have their copy?
I passed them out.
Okay. Lieutenant Castle, again, I'm very proud of, he'll be the next captain for the Central Ohio Joint Fire District next month, hopefully if the board appoints that. So I'm very proud of him. He's former fire chief as well. He has not as many years as I have in the fire service, but more than 5. So with that, I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Castle.
He introduced me. My name's Jacob Castle. I'm a lieutenant in the Central Ohio Fire District. I'm going to go over a little bit of the graph that we have in front of you here. To start, the top part that's in gray is just our general overall 10,000 foot view of what we do per year. Back to 2018, these are all of our runs, not just residential runs. So the first line there, a given, that would be the number of times that we went mutual aid to another department to assist them. The line below that is aid received. So how often do we get a mutual aid company in to help us? A lot of our runs, fires, Carvex, that kind of thing, we get help coming to us immediately, whether we need them or not. So a lot of those times, those departments may be canceled, but that's how often we call for them and get them headed this way. The COJFD only row would be runs that we handle ourselves. These are like chest pain, sick person, things that we don't need outside resources for, and we're not sending outside resources to other departments. And then below that, if you add those 3 together, that gives you your total runs for the year. So you can see back in 2018, we had 899 runs. This past year, we had 1,144. So in the past 8 years, we've had about a 28% increase in our total run volume. And then the line below that is just a year-by-year breakdown of that percent change. So if you notice, 1,144 runs was our total last year. But of those, only 689 were to residential structures. So that is why we've decided to break this down and really try and base our call volume estimates on the amount of residential structures would be added instead of just dividing, the population, adding 600 homes worth, and then multiplying the runs by that. So we're trying to really drill down into how would these houses affect our run volume. So in the blue there, you'll see the calls by occupancy type. We have really studied runs that we code as residential. So that would be basically any place that anybody lives aside from like a senior living facility or a nursing home, those are coded separately. So, and the way we break these down is if you take that building, how many families live under that roof? So the 1 and 2 family dwellings, those are going to be your typical house or a duplex, most of what's in the village, especially what's out in the townships. The multifamily dwellings are going to be usually like apartment buildings, things of that nature. The taxpayer buildings downtown where there are merchants in the bottom and then apartments in the top. Those are all multifamily dwellings. And then below that, the residential other is just something that doesn't get cleanly classified into one of those first 2. So those are things like if somebody happens to be living in a mobile home that's not really mobile anymore, like a camper, that goes into that other section. So we don't run into that a whole lot, but we do get a few of those a year where they don't cleanly fit into one of those 2 criteria. Below that is we pulled the census data for the number of households that were in the district for each of those years. The 2 best years with the most concrete data are the years where they did a full census, 2020, 2024. The in-between years have a little bit of an estimation in there, but it was an educated estimation using the census data. Below that is the number of times we responded each year to a structure that was classified as residential. So that includes 1 and 2 family dwellings, multi-family dwellings, and the other category. That is the total we ran to each one of those. And then below that, this is where it becomes really useful in predicting the future. This is how often or how many runs do we take per 100 households per year. So if you look at 2018, we were taking about 21 calls per 100 homes. And then up in 25, we were at just over 24 calls per 100 homes. So that says 10-year average. It should say 8-year average, so I apologize about that. But the 8-year average is about 23 runs per 100 homes is what you add when you add 100 homes. So there can be some variability in that. Homes, multifamily structures like the apartments, we tend to get a few more calls at than single family homes, but that's a pretty good estimation from what we have found in the data. So is there any questions about how we found this data or how we're using it?
Do you know what caused the like 12% increase there? It looks like it wasn't largely residential. Just curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would have to go look at the data. I'm not exactly
I was
sure.
just curious.
So I know 2018 was our first year with the new reporting software, so I don't know if there was some sort of technical glitch as we made that transition. But I can look into that.
You don't have to, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Some of the things too, if they track back then, if we, how retired Chief Porter tracked his numbers. I come in 2019, so there might be something there that I'm counting as well.
So we can start at 2019 forward and know it's consistent.
Yes,
Yeah.
could be. I think the big thing is this we'll update this at the end of every year. And you're seeing 400 series, but like I said, we have 100 series, 200, 300, 400, all the way down to 900. So who's ever fire chief after me in 5 years from now or 6 years from now, and you want to know what a data center, how a commercial structure impacts, how a residential home, how school, you'll be able to look at all the data and see what we've done and see how we envision. What we found obviously is, I call them the flat tops, the big businesses. We really don't go there that much. We really don't. I call it smells and bells, odor, smoke, fire alarm. We don't have too many runs. Residential homes absolutely do use a lot of our, we do go there quite a bit. Nursing home facilities. This removes all of those out of the numbers too, because we talked about that. When you use the total run volume, you're using a healthcare facility that probably shouldn't be used. So that is our per 100 homes. And if you guys, any other questions, we just want to make sure you have them.
I think my only, the far-reaching question next becomes the capacity of the sewer treatment facility is about 300 homes. So that would be almost 70 runs. If we had 300 homes to the sewer treatment facility, that'd be 70 runs for the department. Could fire department absorb 70 runs per year? It's all an estimate, but.
Right. Right now, what you're asking is something we monitor regularly, and it's at some point. Our what we call drawdown is about 20 to 25%. That means there are 2 vehicles on the road at the same time, which means there's nobody up there at the fire department. There's no more human resources. There has to be 2 people on a truck minimum. We understaffed the fire truck due to the last levy cycle. So a lot of times our fire truck only has 2 people. We have 2 medic runs in progress, a little over 15% of the time each day. So could we handle it? Like I said, our drawdown is really about 20%. We're out of staff. So at 1,500, I start to really get worried historically. We're at 1,200 run call volume. So when we hit 1,500, that's about all one station can normally do. You're not looking at adding a lot of resources. We rely on mutual aid when we don't cover a run, which is normal. Things from Mount Vernon, he'll tell you, Mount Vernon can't do it by themselves. New York City Fire can't do them by themselves. We have what's called mutual aid and automatic aid for those times to help cover what might not be there. What's the difference? Mutual aid is Sunbury coming up here for an auto accident. That's automatic aid. Mutual aid is this weekend we had called bomb squad because we had a situation we had to mitigate, but we don't have those resources at all. So you have to activate, we use called bomb squad. Come on. I feel those are the numbers. And I think that's where the fire service is a little reactive and saying, oh yeah, we're fine. 2,000. And I'm telling you, when we get to about 25% drawdown regularly, then I go, I need more people.
So we're already close. Your analysis is that we need that extra firefighter right now.
Oh yeah.
Right now we need it.
Oh yeah.
We have 300 houses. We still need that extra firefighter.
Yes. The fire department up there should have 7 people. That relies 2 medics, I can get 2 medics out, and I can legally staff, or by industry standards, staff a fire truck with 3 people. We currently now have a minimum staffing of 4. So if the medic's out, 2 medics are out 20% or 15% of the time, that's how many are left. And if 1 medic's out, there's 2 people gone. So when the fire truck gets called, that's how many are responding. You know, that's how staffing has to, or way it's working right now. And we're blessed. We're very blessed. Thank you. We understand. We understand. The growth is over time.
Very helpful, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you,
Lieutenant Captain.
Lieutenant Captain, or
Hopefully the board will promote him to captain.
We'll see.
He does pretty shoddy work.
you have our vote, you have the ability. All right, well, let's start with little business. Let's start off with the door, I guess. Ordinance 2026-8, an ordinance to create a designated outdoor refreshment area for the village of Centerburg. This is the 3rd reading amended. Do we have to pass it amended?
We already approved it.
I think we did approve the amendment at the last meeting, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can, pass it as included in your plan. If you decide.
Pass it as read. Do I have anybody?
I make a motion to pass.
1 second.
Don,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
No.
Julie,
Yeah.
Daniel.
No.
Okay, the next one. Ordinance 2026-10. An ordinance to adopt a cybersecurity program for the village of Centerburg pursuant to the requirements of ORC section 9.64. This is the 3rd reading as well.
And just to refresh council, we are required by the state to pass a cybersecurity policy by July 1st or 31st, one of the two. This would just be ensuring that our IT systems are set up appropriately and that our responses are appropriate. The policy is not included in your packet at Alexis's advisement, since it is protected information that we would want the general public to have. I believe if you haven't received the policy, I can send it out after this.
Well, second.
Who was the first? Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
All right, Dave.
Yep.
Ordinance 2026-11, an ordinance to amend chapter 1307 of the codified ordinances of the village of Centerburg to update the building and zoning. This is a 3rd reading too. And I think somewhere you had date on the back of the
Okay.
papers is all that.
I have a comment. I was reading the table for what's the prices. I don't know what the legality is, but I would be in favor of significantly raising the price per square foot for building a new home. I don't know what the legality is, but I view it from my perspective as somewhat of an impact fee.
So there's 2 advantages here. Even if we pass this today, this legislation also places the responsibility for fees solely in council's hands, so council could adjust the fees whenever. John's not able to make it today. It would be good to have him speak to that. So impact fees are important with development. They're a way for us as a village upfront to get some revenue toward the impact of a new home or something else. We already do that with our tap fees.
Right.
So it doesn't cost $5,000 to tap in, but really what that's doing is putting money into our sewer fund for a future expansion. We did not place impact fees we have not considered impact fees on new development at this time. The one reason being, we are discussing the new community authority. And the thought was, instead of assessing an impact fee up front, we would assess the impact of that development through the new community authority. It's kind of up to council. We can continue the new community authority consideration if council determines that it's not the right path. We can move toward an impact fee. We could do both. I just don't know how palatable kind of that double fee on new development is. So let me ask John maybe to bring us some information next meeting. He's able to do that.
Yeah, no problem. I feel like it doesn't have to be called an impact fee to still offset some of the costs the village has because of the impact.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're looking at the NCA. And we're gonna put something in that any new house will automatically join the NCA going forward.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you whatsoever, but I was thinking if a house that's being built on someone had 2 lots and they decided to build on the second lot, that house would also be captured by a higher price per square foot on building permit.
Well, there's one other thing too. We can only do certain things with this money.
Right.
We
Yeah,
can't,
that's why I don't know the legality.
yeah, we can't pass.
So I'll let Zach speak to it as well. There's a mechanism to charge an impact fee. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do it, maybe not through the zoning code fees, but through, like we're doing the NCA and land dedication, through the code language itself. I think this is an important discussion to have. And so I think it'd be good if I could get John to do a little research on impact fees versus NCA. See if villages are doing both. I mean, I didn't even realize about the land dedication thing that we're considering until John said, well, everybody else in Columbus is doing it. I'm like, well, sure, let's get some land out of these deals. So, yeah, let me see if I can get him to put together a little memo presentation, something for council about what people are doing with impact.
I think when I asked him this question, basically trying to bring the amount of the fee to what the project is that it's supposed to be worth. You know what I'm saying? So like a fence fee would be this, because it only took this much time for him to do it. That type of thing. I already asked.
Yeah, and so Mr. Beck has it right. I think as it relates to this piece of legislation, as it relates to zoning fees, we want to capture what it costs our zoning administrator and staff to complete the work. So I think this legislation, if council is okay with the fees as they relate to the cost of zoning, it doesn't mean we can't still have a discussion about any impact fees, which I think is
What triggers it in my mind, I'm building in Milford Township, I waltzed in there and they only charged me $800. I feel like that's not enough. I feel like for what I'm
don't tell them
doing. I did tell them.
You can get the village to rest if you really think. Well, you know, they had 2 new houses in the township at the last zoning meeting, 2 brand new houses. I don't know, do they charge impact fees? Do you get any money for a new house in the township?
They used to, the only money that we would get is they would charge the new resident $20 for a green address sign. And apparently that wasn't going very well, so they pulled that out. We don't do that, they don't. So we don't get any other funds.
I think between Hilliard, Milford, and the township that touches us here on Mara County, there's probably 6 new houses in the last. None in the town. Okay. Are we good with that, Daniel?
Yep. I'm
Thank
good.
you. You still have to do it with everybody else?
Passing it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve.
Second, Hardwick.
Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's new business. This is ordinance 2026-14, an ordinance to authorize the village administrator to accept bids for the North Clayton Street paving project and to declare an emergency.
I make a motion to waive the 3 readings, Hardwick.
Well, oh, you too. Well.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Motion to vote?
So moved, Hardwick.
Second, Griffith.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Sandra.
Yes.
Pass.
So we're paving Clayton Street. Next one is ordinance 2026-15, an ordinance providing for amending and revisiting specific line items and the appropriation of expenditures for the village of Centerburg for the calendar year 2026 and declaring an emergency. This is for what, the cybersecurity and,
So it's a number of things we spoke about it administrative. So we are moving funds within accounts to pay for camera system upgrades, to have the funding necessary for our liability insurance, to have funds available should we decide to enter in a corporate membership with ACH for our employees. This is an additional appropriation of $78,870 for the Clayton paving project, and then an additional $1,500 for banners. And then as we discussed, we are also appropriating an additional $9,000 to the Parks Fund for events, door-related matters. That was a recertification from the auditor for an additional $16,000 based on fundraising and brick sales that Megan's been handling. So the park stuff is really paid for by new revenue we didn't expect last year. The paving is coming out of that 1.5 or so million that we didn't appropriate at the beginning.
Motion to waive the 3 reading.
Wallace, second.
Julie.
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Motion to vote?
So moved, Hardwick.
Second, Griffith.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
all right, Megan?
Yep.
Resolution 2026-17, a resolution authorizing the filing of a NatureWorks grant application with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources by the village administrator and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Which one?
Second, Hardwick.
Hold on.
Where's the roll?
I'm just 16.
We'll come back.
Okay. All right, on a second.
You drive around.
So I got Dave for motion to waive and Daniel for second. Okay. Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Motion to vote?
Now, where is this to transpire?
So yes, I was gonna give a brief update on this. So each year, every county is authorized an amount for a NatureWorks grant. The administrators in the villages and cities in Knox County tend to pass it around. So it's a pretty much assured funding opportunity for the village between $30,000 and $40,000. It was part of our estimated cost or estimated revenue toward the Trailheads project at the park and downtown. So I've worked with the other administrators. We will be as far as I understand, the only village applying for this grant, which means we should get the full allocation. In talking to the engineer from Mount Vernon, the one thing he wanted to make sure is you have to have stamped plans in order to get the grant. And honestly, the trailhead's the only thing we have stamped formal plans for right now, which is good because we've been trying to gather all of the financial resources for that this year. So it really just worked out in alignment, and none of the other villages were really ready to go for this. So.
Motion to approve. Wallace, second.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes.
Yes.
Now we're gonna back up one. Ordinance 2026-16 to authorize the village administrator and or fiscal officer to acquire property casualty and general liability insurance for the village of Centerburg and declare an emergency.
When's the contract?
Today. So I did look back. We tend to pass this in May every year, but our renewal date is today. Basically, our administrator said, unless you give me a call, it's going to auto renew tonight. So if council authorizes us to renew our policy, we'll continue with that. I did mention these aren't the pieces that will renew this time, but we are currently working with our insurer on 3 additional things. We want to increase our cybersecurity coverage to $1 million. We would like to add a public official faithful performance policy, really to relieve the burden of the bonds on the mayor and the fiscal officer, where they would have to repay those if those bonds paid out. And then the last one is a liability policy that would cover other entities other than the village that might do events in between the principals. I will email council once I kind of get those numbers, but the estimation I got is we probably end up spending about the same this year with those additional policies as we spent last year.
Motion to waive 3 readings, Hardwick.
Second, back.
Daniel,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Julie.
Yeah.
Motion
So moved, Hardwick.
Wallace, second.
Don,
Yes.
Dave,
Yeah.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes.
Pass.
You have insurance. Okay, resolution 2026-18, a resolution authorizing the filing of a FEMA Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant application with the Ohio Emergency Management Agency by the village administrator and declaring an emergency.
I'll give a brief update. So I just found out about this maybe a week ago from Stephen, our engineer over at B3. I'd asked him just to be on the lookout for ways to offset the cost of our comprehensive planning efforts. Apparently Ohio EMA has been doing 3 applications for what's called a building code true-up or something like that. He had asked him, is zoning and planning and these comprehensive planning activities qualifying under that program? And they indicated that it was. So my goal is actually to submit a pre-application to EMA for about $145,000, which is half of our planning effort. Part of what I'm going to indicate is it could accelerate our discussion of building code enforcement in the community. But obviously it could go towards funding software, like the software we just purchased for permitting. Obviously looking at land use and zoning. So my hope is that we could maybe get some funding to offset that comp plan through this. So he emailed me, I said, let's give it a shot. So that's what this is.
So this is through the NatureWorks grant application?
So this is a separate one.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's what it says, 26-18,
Yeah.
NatureWorks.
the resolution in our packets is a duplicate of 20 of number 16. Wait, mine. I don't know, mine is 17, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Seventeen.
Yeah.
Seventeen.
it could be my fault.
Oh, on the.
Why don't we pause on this one once we finish the rest of this, and I can actually, I'll have Megan see if she can print off that piece.
do you want?
If you could go to the shared drive in the legislation, there should be one for BRIC, BRIC. And see if you can browse it. And instead of keeping everybody waiting, we have a motion on the next one. Do you have a motion on the floor?
Yeah.
No. Mayor, if we can, bring this motion back at the end of this session, Megan will get. Sorry about that.
Take it out of your pay.
Go for it. So Mayor, if you want to do the last three resolutions, Megan should have that ordinance or that
Well,
resolution.
she can't do the vote. Oh, you got it.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Which is first reading.
Yeah.
That's true.
Resolution 2026-19, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental electricity aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to the section 4928.20 of the Ohio Revised Code, directing the Knox County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the first reading of many. So go for it.
What is it?
Yes. So, I'll get into it. The mayor and I have been talking a bit about, how to relieve, cost of services to our residents. One of the things that, communities do is they, participate in a natural gas and an electric aggregation program. So what that means is that we bundle our entire population, we go out to the market and see if we can get better electric or natural gas rates for our population. If the voters approve the aggregation, they're automatically opted into the program, but they're not stuck to it. So basically, they could request to not be in it. A letter is sent out to every resident that says, hey, you're in this program unless you call and say you don't want to be in it. But generally, what we find is that you're paying less for natural gas and electric through an aggregation program. We've met with representatives from Palmer Energy, who works with the County Commissioners Association as well as the Municipal League. They would be out probably next meeting to talk a little bit more about this program. But generally, it's not just our village. Palmer's working with Fredericktown and Mount Vernon as well. And what they're trying to do is get a bigger group you have, the better prices you get. So they're trying to aggregate as many communities in the county as they can to get us the best rate possible. So this is, again, neither the mayor or I figured this would be a pass on the fruit. This is going to be a 3-month process. I just wanted to start it because I think we, in order to get on the ballot in November, we have to have this passed by August, which puts us right at 3 readings. So,
Mount Vernon already now.
Mount Vernon and Fredericktown.
They're trying to get it countywide, but they can't. This is going to pass on that. And we talked in depth with Palmer through the Ohio Municipal League, and it's a chance. It may only reduce your electric rates 10 or 15%. I'm not saying only, because now electric bills $200. I mean, but it's a chance to get in a group where you have some leverage, where you can say, hey, we don't kind of like what's going on, and maybe have a little bit of power. I just read yesterday, I want to get on my soapbox a little bit about this. In the Ohio Capital Journal, they were talking about the 4 electric CEOs in Ohio that are for profit make $81 million a year. Bill Furman from AEP makes $37 million a year. He made $36 million in 2005. Duke Energy guy makes $14 million. First Energy out of Toledo, the ones that were just caught bribing the
Household.
yeah, the household earnings group, he makes $13 million. AES is a small electric company in the Miami Valley, owned by Dave. They only pay him $9 million. So when you talk about electric rates and everybody's telling you what's raising your electric rates, there's one.
If I may add to that there, you know, knowing how the stone card works for CEOs, that probably does not include bonuses. I know the CEO, one of the last CEO person, he was getting a $2 million bonus on top of his regular 6-figure salary. So, some people.
Well, I got all that from the Ohio Capital Journal, so I hope they were right. Get sued.
Now you're on video.
And I'm sure Columbia Gas might be right about.
And-
What's the downside? Is there any?
They'll tell you there is none. Palmer Energy claims that it might be possible that they submit for bids for gas or electric, and the bids are not as good as the market rate that we would get through AEP or the other provider, and they would simply recommend that we not aggregate. So even though we're allowed to participate in a purchase and aggregation program, we don't have to just because we passed it. It's up to us, and realistically, it's going to be up to probably the county commissioners, because what we can do as a village is hunt responsibility for that aggregation to the commissioner, which is what we would do if multiple communities in the county were going to participate in the program. Bears mentioning, this is simply a vote, this and the next piece of legislation, to place this issue on the ballot. Council alone doesn't get to make this decision, it's the voters. But this next 3 months would be an opportunity to have this discussion, so that people can hear about it, when they do vote on it, if they do vote on it.
Just to reiterate what you said Palmer, right?
Mhm.
They're going to evaluate this and let us know whether or not the market values and benefits.
So,
If not, we can.
Yeah, I participated. Mount Vernon did use Palmer when I was there. They used a different company. But basically, each time our contract was up, they could be 1, 2, 3-year contracts. Our broker, that's who Palmer is, would come to us and say, okay, we're ready to submit bids. So just like we'd submit a bid, they would put us out to bid in the market, and then utility providers would send us their bid price, and we could pick from that.
Okay.
What's Palmer? So they said, I asked them this, I said, how do you guys get paid? So they have a small fee on each unit of energy. That goes a small fee. I guess we'll find out when we ask them in a month.
This is all through the Ohio Municipal League. They actually do the deal for the Ohio Municipal League, basically.
Now, let's say the bid's good, right? So let's say that 1, 2, 3-year contract, is that locked in? Like,
It's
there's
locked
not
in.
gonna be any rate
So here's
changes
what's
during the
interesting.
contract.
It requires a little bit of attention on the part of the consumer. So yes, our contract is locked in, but remember, the consumer can opt out anytime they want.
Right.
So if at some point our contract got more expensive than the aggregation or the typical utility, everybody in the village can call and go, I want out, and they have to let them out. And these are good questions. I want to confirm some of this with Palmer, whoever comes out and gives some input on this, but they seem, a lot of communities are doing it, but again, if you do get locked into a contract and it's a little higher, you're gonna have, not everybody in the village is gonna be paying attention to the utility rate market. So yeah, I don't know that I've ever been there when our rates in Mount Vernon, I don't think they ever went above what the market rate was, so we were always pretty good, but there's always that possibility.
Do we have any after action review with Fredericktown? What was the other communities using?
Mount Vernon just went with them, but funny enough, I'll send it out, just Friday, I think I got the savings report from Fredericktown from Paul. So I'll send it out.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, Mount Vernon's done it for quite a while. We looked into it a while back, we just couldn't get anything going. We just couldn't get anybody interested. And once we joined the Ohio Municipal League, then it all fell together. So it's, So that's the first reading.
Yep.
Now, let's do natural gas. Resolution 2026-20, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to effect the governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 492926 of the Ohio Revised Code. directing the Knox County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors. And again, that's the first reading. And there again, it's Palmer's. Same thing with the electors. All right, now the last one. Wait, we've got to go back to 18.
Right.
Well, let's do the last one. Resolution 2026-21, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to advertise for bids for single source trash hauling in the village of Centerburg for 1, 2, and 3-year terms. That's the first reading.
So since we were having the conversation about natural gas and electric, I figured we might as well have a conversation about trash. And we'll determine maybe in the next couple months if we want to do anything with that. The theory behind it is that if we were to go with a single source trash hauler, generally the rates for most of the village could go down. We could reduce number of vehicles on the road. We could have a standard pickup day for the village. At the same time, the mayor had asked me, he's like, well, what's the cost now? And I think Terry might have done some estimates a year or so ago, which would be outdated. And I said, the best way to do it is we write a bid, which I can draft for next meeting. We put it out. We see what all the trash haulers tell us if it's what we want to do. And either we don't accept any bids, or if we like what we see, council could decide to move that direction. So
This is trash hauling, correct? This isn't recycling.
that's the thing that we discussed. I would propose that we we require a bid that includes trash and recycling. And potentially, this is a discussion item. They could include canisters, that's about, we could see where the cost falls as we would exclude the
Cans, like trash cans.
Oh,
and we would, however we write the bid. So I did find the legislation that Zach and I worked from another community in Ohio. My next plan, after we've kind of gotten this started, is to go find a comparable bid from another community and see how it fits into what we might need, if we need anything. Again, this is simply a discussion topic right now for council to see where we're going.
I would say this is one of the biggest topics of conversation on the Facebook things, like finding decent trash pickup, so I think we'll be interested in this conversation.
Well, if anybody has Rumpke, they saw the price went up last time to 112, 119. So I had a friend of mine in Sunbury that was paying 80. Theirs didn't go up Sunbury. So we called Rumpke and said, hey, Sunbury's, well, they matched their price.
No, they won't do that. You just have
Okay,
to.
well, it's just $80. It's like, why didn't you give me the $80 to begin with?
And I could call around and try and get some costs of, hey, if we had 500 households, what would it be? The reason I like council authorizing me to do a formal bid is as soon as they give me that number, if we like it, they're locked in. If I just call around and ask for some quotes, that could change anytime. And also, why go through all the effort if this is, believe me, in every community I've been in, this has been a controversial topic. So let's have it out about whether it's something we even want to do now, before we.
So when Rick and I talked about this, I have a cottage on Middle Glass Highway in Powell County. And they brought us trash cans one day and said, this is your trash can, this guy's your trash hauler. And that's the end of this discussion. And that's 5 years ago. And it's been fantastic. We have, it's a homeowner-owned association. We own the roads, we have to take care of them. There's one garbage truck on the road. One. There's 5 that come down Jerry Street every week.
I think that's the big issue. If those trucks tear up our road. I mean, there's potholes and everything else. After Preston Street completely, where the circle is up there.
And with Jerry Street Bridge, I mean, that's a concern.
Here at the roads, there's always trash cans on the curb, always in town, because everybody in town has a different trash pickup day.
The code enforcement doesn't deal with trash cans. I mean, I think we have an ordinance that you have to pull them in after they, we don't know. So if it's a single day, now we know. Hey.
Oh, we can find people. They do that in Arlington. I'm sorry.
Mary has a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just thought, let you know that I've been through multiple contracts with different trash haulers. And if you get a good one, it is well worth the deal. If you get a good one, we have recycling, we have, trash pickup, and then we can have bulk pickup if we call them ahead of time. And they give us our canisters, and we have multi-year contracts. And typically it's a 3-year contract, and typically it always goes up, but older horses, it's like 25 cents a month, like a year. Like, so 1 year it'll go 25 cents, the next year it'll go 25 cents. And we're talking it's $18 a month for our trash pickup. So, it's 58 something. Every quarter, they bill quarterly, you pay quarterly. I would recommend, we've almost lost all of our trustees at one point when they picked the wrong trash hauler. So, very warned, like it was really, really bad. Trash was piling up on the streets. But for the most part, we've had really good luck with Rumpke. I know there's some local ones that might do the job too. There's another company that's big that I do not
What's their name?
would recommend.
Waste management.
That's it. That's it. I wasn't avoiding saying anything. I honestly couldn't remember, but as soon as I heard it, because I put something that bad out of my head. Like we've had trash piled up for months on our street.
Thanks for the information.
Where, just where do you live?
I've lived in Berkshire and Genoa.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And it is nice to only have the trash truck on the street once.
For sure.
So that's the first reading of that, right? We'll see how that goes. Dave was here when they tried it before.
Right.
He still has nightmares about it.
Still has some of the.
Look at him, he's down there shaking whenever you talk about it.
Let's just pass it as emergency.
American Idol, whatever, the trash all around.
It's a free country. I can do my trash wherever I want. All right, let's go back to 2026-18. Am I right there?
Yes, we now have the correct, or the resolution from here.
Yeah, sorry.
A resolution authorizing the filing of a FEMA Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant application with the Ohio Emergency Management Agency by the village administrator and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Wallace, second.
Dave,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Motion to vote?
So moved, Hardwick.
Second, Wallace.
Sandra,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Pass.
Okay. Anything else? Any old business or new business we forgot? Anybody want to bring something up? How about round table? Who wants to start tonight? Dave?
Rusty.
That Rusty?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody of the flower sale. 7 to 10, rain or shine.
I mean, I'm rejection.
Okay.
Where do you guys be up for this?
Of the elementary school. Serve the bird. This Saturday,
It is.
9 o'clock.
This Saturday?
Sure.
I have something else. This is for Daniel and the chief. Did either of you get hypnotized Friday at that event?
Oh, yes. No.
You didn't? You didn't go?
There was a gentleman's agreement of why I would do it. And someone else had to agree to do it, and that person refused, so I got out.
Did you get hypnotized?
No. I may have. Beer tasting was at the same time. So I may have been.
That's all I
That's all you have. Dave?
Since the chief's here, we had a issue that came up in the previous committee about bridge on Jerry Street.
Yes.
But what's your tonnage for the fire truck?
The new one loaded, and let me go back and check that for sure, before I give you that number, but, they said we were fine at the time.
What's the rate of
But
the
it's an ore bridge,
I think the bridge is at 20 tons. Does that sound right to you?
sounds like it, but yet, the thing for us, because we're an emergency vehicle, we feel where any bridge should be inspected, and the state is supposed to come out. There's so much safety built, from what I understand, in a bridge, that they can come out, look at the bridge, and decide really what the tonnage would be in an emergency. There's some clause in their deal on how they rate bridges. I think that's an orphan bridge too, isn't it?
Pardon me?
Is that one an orphan bridge?
Yeah, it's ours. Hypothetically. The reason it came up, just so you know, is we did have our engineering firm do a memo on the bridge. Based on the last inspection from the state and their review, it's okay at its current tonnage and it'll last. It's not like an imminent danger of failure. They did give us some options for rehabilitation. The big question is funding. So I think as soon as we're able to secure funding and we look at some modification of that bridge, but my concern when I got this report from the state is this thing gonna fall in? And their report was no. But at some point,
It's enough tonnage, that's why I'm asking the question.
yeah, at some point,
You would have to have the engineers come back and say, hey, this is what our fire truck exactly will it support. We were told before, that our fire truck could go over. Now, again, that's how many axles are on there at any one time. There's so much that goes into figuring the math of what it can support and what it can, for us.
You ever bring the trucks up that, up to the, or anything?
Not much. No.
What does it weigh?
Like I said, I would hate to say, I'd have to call off the top of my head.
I could guess, max bridge law for a one axle spaced more than 8 feet apart is 20,000 pounds. It's a 2-axle truck, 40,000 pounds should be bridge law. But I don't know.
It's
I'd have to
20
engineer-
20 tons an axle.
20,000 pounds an axle. So tandem group is 34.
That, well,
That truck would be-
2,000 pounds maybe.
So that truck should be 20 tons.
We're a little heavier.
Okay, you're a little over that.
Are we talking an empty
Load
truck
it up
or
with water
truck?
too.
No, that's what I mean.
I'm just going
I can give you the exact number.
I'm just trying to figure out if we need to worry
But
about,
I just don't, I mean, I know it's on the windshield.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
along with several others.
Hey, chief, how much does it weigh when you got full tack in your truck?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's what we haven't weighed out.
Let's
And I
have,
can't tell you that exact number off the top of my head.
let's load it up and see what it weighs. Well, you could have a fundraiser.
More flowers, lots
Yeah.
of flowers.
The closest one splits 50-50. There's selling bricks you could put in.
There you go. No, when we have it weighed, it has all the complement of water, all the tools, and 3 firefighters.
Yeah, because
That's how it's weighed.
it holds X amount of gallons of water,
Correct.
minus the fire hoses, the heavy equipment
Yep.
accessories, so.
But before I give you that exact number, and I know we have the exact number, I just can't. It's not-
So you give it brick.
Yeah.
And all those of you.
Who's that, Dave?
Now, we asked that question again, before we ordered the truck. That was, and that's, what we learned, or before we ordered the truck, we told it would cross from the bridge.
Okay.
So,
Good.
Now, we're done with this end. Who wants to go?
I don't really have anything.
On? Julie?
Nothing at this point.
You have anything?
Oh, I have Lots of things. Since I'm on the big screen now. And tonight we made history in Centerburg, Ohio. In the history of Centerburg. The first time we ever live streamed a council.
We'll see how many dial in next month.
So if you want to wave and say hi, to everybody, this is your chance.
And mom.
And last week I was doing a new elected officials class at Ohio University. Very, very interesting. One day a week they'd take us somewhere, sit down and talk to us about stuff. Last week was about crisis management, and the public relations lady at Westerville spoke about a couple of things, just things you never think of. What would happen when these things were dropped in your lap? And one of them was when the 2 officers were killed, and the other one was the presidential debate on it, when Westerville became the center of the universe. Both of them, they became the center of the universe. And we learned that day, you know, that we had quite a few students, and learned that day how to prepare for things that might happen that put you in that situation. So I don't know, we used to take NIMS training, and all of us had NIMS training. I don't think any of you had NIMS training. No. But the federal government quit funding. So I don't know, maybe with Rick's help and the fire chief.
We sponsored a class here for officials 1 year through EMA. So I can get a hold of.
Maybe the county
There's
EMA.
one class you all should have.
And you
Maybe
know,
100, I think.
when we were taught, it was basically who you listened to, who was in charge. And it showed the progression of,
Show the procedure.
Yes.
Of what you're supposed to do, who to report to, all
you
that.
know, do we have any generators? What, you know, you just never know. And if something happens to the village, we'll be the ones that we'll be the ones that people look to find out, crawl under the desk or whatever.
I think we have to show what, I think like 6 or 7 NIMS certificates. And we have the NIMS training all the time, but there is one for like officials.
But they quit funding it.
Huh? But EMA may have a.
Oh, I see, I got you. Federal NIMS.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of them are online, so like the 1 and 7, I think, are the ones that like everybody in government has to have. I think those are online, but we can probably do it in class. And then the elected officials, we can get, a lot of the other ones, like there's 3, 4, there's a lot more that the chief is supposed to have and I used to have.
But I don't know, maybe I'm dreaming or something, but I think we ought to have it for everybody on the council, and then all of our employees ought to be part of it.
Yep.
I think we talked, Terry and I, before she left, that we would have a drill with everybody maybe every quarter. And I think maybe that just kind of fell off the slate, needs to work its way back on to where we drill. I know we drilled last week with the PIOs in the county. Who was all there? What is that? It's a PIO lunch and learn.
I wasn't there.
Which there's no lunch. That's
No
a
lunch?
fake. There's no lunch. You have to bring your own lunch.
That's my whole point of doing this.
But we drilled a weather disaster at the tomato show. Don't call it a festival, you'll get in trouble. But we did, we drilled for about 2 hours actually on a thunderstorm coming in. So we drill pretty regularly in that, and we can bring something back down here for sure. EMA is always looking for something.
And they told me to reach out and ask any of them for help. John Byrne, Super Guy, and a couple of other speakers.
When the festival, you'll see, I think the mayor had, we do an IAP before every event. So it's a 5 or 6 page document that has all that pre-planning in it, that you would have a copy, I have a copy, Rick would have a copy. I can give it to anybody. We wanted to kind of limit it because that's numbers that people shouldn't see. But the event that, hey, if this happens, you know, under unified command, you know, the sheriff's office, the fire department, festival rep, and now it's your park or the city's park. So you have to have that rep then how are we gonna do things, move people and all that? And what would happen if it's a tornado? What happens if it's a bomb threat? All these other things. So we try to stage it as best we can. So yeah, I'll get together and we'll get something here. It's your class. EMA does a great job teaching it too.
We meet next week, so we thought.
Yeah, we'll do the safety meeting. Yeah,
Well, let's get something.
Okay.
done.
can do.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We, we can get some AED stuff
AED.
for tourniquets.
Chris can come down. We did that with all the staff this year. Annually, we do CPR and stop the bleed with all the staff here.
And the AED grants dried up? Not really?
Shriners is pretty good for that, and then we have a little church somewhere out in Ohio that we've had pretty good luck with getting an AED. Now that just buys you the AED, all the upkeep and all that.
I think any nonprofit, like from the American Heart Association.
For an AED?
Yeah, AED.
Okay.
AED. That's my understanding. So that's all I have. I all kinds of stuff. We'd be here all night.
No, can I add one thing, Mayor? I didn't answer a good question of yours. That I kind of remind me, Ryan, superintendent, answers it the same way. If you look at that run volume, 26 runs a year, let's say, would impact us. That's basically 2 a month. So if everybody calls at 3 o'clock, no, we can't handle it. But if it spaces out, then yeah. So, am I too worried? No. But that's how you gotta look at it. It's 2 runs a month. And there's days we don't have any runs. So if you call on that day, normally we do 3 to 4 runs a day. Just wanted to kind of follow up on that question. Thank you.
I will say on the training thing, I did do my ethics training, and have to for work, so if we need people who've done it, I had to do it anyway, so they.
If you send us our certificate, we'll put it in a file, that way we've got it. Eventually you'll get it.
Yeah, you did it, didn't you, Don? Alex, did you go to, municipal league?
Do it, just go on the website and do it.
It's interesting too.
They go, I think I've said, they go through, ethics violations from other states and like basically trash talk people who had ethics violations in other places, and that's how they keep them out. So as far as training, it's going
Well, I heard Chris speak. Chris does a great thing on money, on accounting. For forensic audits and some of the stuff he's found in the state. And it's just amazing. It really is. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And with that, I'm going to adjourn.
The second, Hardwick.
Oh, yeah. I have a copy of it. I had it here. I wrote yeah, and here's we are just, if we don't pass it, we burn that number on that day. That was 30 years that Senator. Have you changed that anymore? They would have a tracking number, and the tracking number actually means that it's like 6
The first ordinance or resolution that you issue. And so in essence, but then if you didn't pass, you didn't get an overall, who cares? You need a resolution eight, and it gets voted down.
Probably.
Who cares? It's voted down. But it was a massive reality. If you're not supposed to file it, we're changing this. You're welcome. We'll recycle out.
Yeah, all those laws, things.
Perfect.
All right, okay, you look this, you have one for me to sign.
I have one, but I think I thought we decided we're gonna do it next month from here, right?
I'll be right back, man.
Yeah.
They already know all the inspectors and governors.
Hey, thanks, Julie.
The inspectors around there. Sign it off on certain parts of the bill.
Hey,
They're so backed up on these.
can I get your cell phone?
Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
That's a problem, we never know what they actually sign up.
So we just go and have to wait.
Oh. Well, Rick gave me a bunch of stuff. I got some names.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us guys.
Yeah, let me start with that one too.
Yeah, I want to say that.
6 months.
I'll find it.
Me too, I'm so curious, I would like to look into some towns that haven't raised that tax. And have been in those taxes. Randall? Oh, shoot.
Well, I don't know.
Right, I'm curious if they've done to avoid it so much.
I had a guy.
Apply.